Howdy everyone, it's Sam. I hope you're doing really well. If you're new around here, I hope I can get you to consider liking the content and subscribing to the channel. And if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. Round 14, I was 7 from 7, and then upset Monday came about where I tipped the Eels and the Bulldogs got up by 30 points. To the Bulldogs fans, enjoy it. You guys deserve such a great victory like that. And by the looks of things, there are plenty of results from round 14, in my opinion, that suggests that this is the halfway mark and this is the point of the season where things change. You've got injuries to the Broncos, you've got Eels' credentials being questioned, and you've also got a brand new signing for the North Queensland Cowboys as well. So this round 14 could be looked at maybe in about 3 months as maybe the turning point for the entire NRL competition. But let's get stuck into round 15 this weekend. Round 15 of the 2022 NRL Telstra Premiership campaign kicks off on Thursday night from WIN Stadium in Wollongong, where we see the St George Illawarra Dragons host the South Sydney Rabbitohs, and South Sydney Rabbitohs are coming into the game as favourites at $1.50 to the Dragons $2.60, and Latrell Mitchell was that close for you South Sydney Rabbitohs supporters, but he will not be playing. For team list news, there's not much for South Sydney Rabbitohs. Peter Momazoulis goes back to jersey number 18, meaning Blake Taaffe comes into jersey number 14 and Damien Cook resumes at jersey number 9. And then for the St George Illawarra Dragons, Jaden Su'A starts the game in jersey number 12, and Andrew McCulloch plays in game number 300, and Moses Mbai shifts to the bench. McCulloch starts in jersey number 9, so kudos, congratulations to Andrew McCulloch as well. I think that makes him 44 or 45, the 45th player to reach the 300 game milestone, so yeah, that's a massive achievement, man. So these two sides haven't met so far in 2022, but they did meet in the Charity Shield, and the Dragons got up. And last weekend, the South Sydney Rabbitohs, they won 13 plus, and it was a good win. It's not overly convincing, and the Dragons, well, they got a tune up by the North Queensland Cowboys, losing 13 plus to them. This is actually going to be a close game, in my opinion. I think the Dragons will have the better defense. I think they are capable of scoring points. The Rabbitohs, though, they seem to have discovered themselves a little bit at halftime in that game against West Tigers, and they were a little bit in and out of that game against the Gold Coast Titans last week. So I'm not prepared to say that they're back, but this would go a massive way to ensuring that they would be, if they could get the win away from home against the Dragons. But I think I'm going to tip the upset here because of Andrew McCulloch's 300th. I think everyone will get around it. I wish that Jaden Sullivan, though, would be in jersey 14 instead of Moses Mbai. Jaden Sullivan has been named in jersey number 20, and Michaela Ravalawa also comes back for the Dragons as well in jersey number 5. So I'm going to tip the upset, $2.60, really good odds. I'm going to tip the St George Illawarra Dragons to win down in Wollongong this Thursday night against the South Sydney Rabbitohs, 1-12. Friday night, there are 2 games, and game number 2 on Friday night is from Amy Park in Melbourne. It's the Melbourne Storm hosting the Brisbane Broncos, and Melbourne Storm, they have whipped the Brisbane Broncos everywhere. Every time that they have come up against him, they have destroyed the Brisbane Broncos over the past, I think, decade or so. Definitely the ledger is in favour of the Storm, I'm pretty sure, at least over in recent seasons. Ryan Papenhuyzen for the Melbourne Storm has been named in jersey number 21, with Nick Meaney wearing jersey number 1 on his back. Dunno. Nick Meaney to go from the Bulldogs down to the Storm. He was a good player for the Bulldogs, just in a bad system at a basket case of a club. And to see him playing really good, consistent footy, Nick Meaney, congratulations to him. I think he's been a really good player, and now he's even better under Craig Bellamy and the Melbourne Storm system as well. Other than that, it's pretty much the same 17 for the Melbourne Storm. And for the Brisbane Broncos, there are a stack of changes, but they're coming into this game a bit battered and bruised. So Ezra Mann is in at 5'8". He was under an injury cloud, but he has been named. And Tyrone Roberts will be his partner in this contest. Adam Reynolds succumbing to a rib complaint, a rib injury. Tyrone Roberts, though, is coming back into the side after sustaining a calf injury, I'm pretty certain. The fullback Tamare Martin has been named, but he is under an injury cloud as well. Katoni Staggs, though, massive boost. He comes back into the side, but he's coming in after having a cork to the shoulder in State of Origin. So this will be his first game in a couple of weeks, but you reckon he'd go all right. Brenko Lee has also been named, and Selwyn Cobbo has also been named on one side of the paddock as a centre wing combination. No, because Staggs and Cobbo actually line up together. So it will be Brenko Lee and Corey Oates on one side of the paddock, actually. And then in the forward pack, Payne Haas has been named. Ooh, okay, he's going to be a bit battered and bruised. Kurt Capewell has been named to return. Pat Carrigan's still there. And Thomas Flegler and Keenan Palacia round out the bench. That's still not a bad squad that the Brisbane Broncos have named. I do give them a sniff. I thought maybe 48 hours ago, considering how much of a toll that they racked up over the weekend, or supposedly did, I thought Melbourne Storm, gee whiz, they could win this one 13+. I still think that they'll win. Unfortunately for Brisbane Broncos fans, I'll tip Melbourne Storm to win this game 1-12, but there's still enough pepper in that Brisbane Broncos side to give them a bit of a scare. But I think Melbourne at home will just be a bit too much for the Brisbane Broncos side heading into the bye weekend. There's 3 games on Super Saturday, and game number 1 is from C.X Coffs Harbour International Sports Stadium in Coffs Harbour. It's the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks hosting the Gold Coast Titans. And for the Cronulla Sharks, they're effectively 1 through to 13. Aidan Tolman, Braden Trindle, Teague Wilton and Andrew Fafita are the bench. And then for the Gold Coast Titans, AJ Brimson, who suffered a flu or COVID last week, he is going to return in jersey number 1. These two sides only met 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago maybe, sort of thing. And the Cronulla Sharks got the win. I'm going to tip the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. I thought that their away form leading into the Warriors game had been poor, and they started the game out poorly as well. But they got the ball back rolling, and yeah, you can say that was against the Warriors, but they had to come back from 12-0 down and against a spirited Warriors outfit there for a portion. So that was a good fight back from Cronulla. And last year, they played these two teams at Coffs Harbour, and the Sharks absolutely ran right over the Gold Coast Titans. The Titans, Tino Fa'asuamaleaui is the captain. He is the leader, but there is nothing else surrounding him. You can't say that he's really got a leadership group around him. He's doing it on his own, trying to lead from the front. And these young Gold Coast Titans, there's just no direction. There's no one really trying to put their step forward and really tell these players where to go and what to do and how to play to their attacking structures, because it looks like they're thinking off the cuff and sort of frazzledly so, running back into the middle of the pack and of the ruck, and then just throwing it back on the inside, hoping for something and maybe an offload here and there. It just doesn't look like a plan. They look like they're playing games without nothing to really go off on. So that's one of the reasons why I think that the Titans find themselves in last place. I didn't have them in the top 8, but I did not have them in last place at all to start the year. So boy howdy, man. Oh man, I feel sorry for Titans fans, to be honest with you. But I'm going to tip the Cronulla Sharks to win this one 13+. And game number 2 on Super Saturday is from Moreton Daily Stadium in Redcliffe, where we see the New Zealand Warriors host the Penrith Panthers. Let's get into the team list news for the Warriors, because there is a lot of changes for the Warriors. So the fullback is Reece Walsh, the wingers are DWZ and Marcelo Montoya. The centre pairing is Jesse Arthurs and Adam Pompey, and the halves pairing Ronald Volkman makes his first grade debut in jersey 6, partnering Sean Johnson. So congratulations and all the absolute friggin' best to you this weekend. Talk about coming off the frying pan and into the fire for Ronald Volkman. Holy crap. Anyway, let's get into the forward pack for the New Zealand Warriors. And Bunty Afoa and Jazz Tavanga starts in the front row with Wade Egan as the hooker. And the back row is Murchie, Harris and Curran. Curran starts in jersey 13. And the interchange bench, Chanel Harris-Tavita, there in 14, so he hasn't been completely dropped. And Aaron Penne, Dynamis Louis and Bailey Sirenen just holds on to his spot there in jersey number 17. Isaiah Yeo for the Penrith Panthers is back in jersey number 13. And pretty much that is it from the side that walloped the Newcastle Knights last week in Newcastle. The bench for giggles is Mitch Kenny, Sorensen, Lenu and Salmon, with Matt Eisenhuth, the unlucky bugger, to fall off the Penrith Panthers by 13+. And the main event on Super Saturday is from CommBank Stadium, where we see the Parramatta Eels host the Sydney Roosters, and the Parramatta Eels are coming into the game as $1.80 favourites to the Sydney Roosters, $2. And Parramatta Eels, I did me little review with Nick from Australia on his channel, so please go and check that out. Dude, that loss for the Parramatta Eels, it doesn't make me think that I'm going to put a red line through them, no. But gee whiz, doesn't it put a different mindset, different mind frame on every punter in the NRL universe for the rest of the year, as so far as how the ladder is actually going to shape up? Because as I said at the start of the video, round 14 for me could be looked upon as that round that really changed the game for the NRL competition in 2022, and round 15 is going to be evidence of that, depending on the result of this game. The Sydney Roosters had a really good account of themselves last week against the Melbourne Storm. Unluckily, Tupanua knocks the ball on after a great chip kick, or crossfield chip kick for him, but he knocks the ball on, and then the very next set, basically, the Melbourne Storm go up with Felice Kafusi scoring a try, who in my opinion shouldn't be playing this weekend either. Anyway, Parramatta Eels team listeners. So it looks like that they are unchanged. They are unchanged from the game that they played yesterday against the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs in that upset of the year. And then for the Sydney Roosters, Daniel Tupou comes in, Billy Smith comes in, and Manu and Sawali are there as well. Luke Keary has been named to play in jersey number 7. He sustained a concussion. That's great to see. That's really good news. Whenever I do these team list news, these are fresh reactions, and yeah, my first reaction when I saw Keary get knocked out the other night against Melbourne was, oh no, please let him be all right. But he's been named in jersey number 7, but maybe you'd be a bit cautious of whether or not he actually does pop up and play on Saturday evening. The forward pack is Lindsay Collins, Takeaho, Sam Verrills is in jersey number 9 for the Roosters. Angus Crichton, Tupanua and Nat Butcher round out the back row. And then the interchange bench is Watson, Hutchison, Butcher and Baker. These two sides only met back at Magic Round, which was only about 5 weeks ago or so. And unfortunately, the Parramatta Eels, they didn't show up in that first half. And then they came roaring back in that second half, but it wasn't enough. James Tedesco, Sam Walker, and Joseph Sawali were on fire in that game. And the Sydney Roosters ended up winning arguably the game of the round back at Magic Round in a close affair. And I think this is going to be a close affair as well. Being that this is at CommBank, being that Parramatta Eels are going to be burning from that loss against the Bulldogs on Monday yesterday, I'm gonna tip the Parramatta Eels with no confidence at all. This is a flip of the coin game in its truest form. This is going to be a really good game. It's going to reveal a lot more about the Eels than the Roosters. I think the Roosters showed that they probably won't be grand finalists, but you still don't want to take Eastern Suburbs lightly at all for the rest of the season for sure, because there's still enough time in the competition for them to click and go on the fast lane to the grand final. So, but I'm going to tip the Parramatta Eels to come back and get a win against a former heavyweight and get their season just course corrected back on track. So Parramatta Eels 1-12 on Saturday. On Sunday, there are 2 games, and game number 1 is from GIO Stadium, where we see the Canberra Raiders host the Newcastle Knights, and the Raiders are coming into the game $1.28 favourites, and the Newcastle Knights are going into the game $3.75. I think the Canberra Raiders, for the first 50 minutes of that contest, had a really good crack, and boy howdy, man, there is something wrong with the mindset of the Canberra Raiders in second halves. It's not right. Like, what's doing there? So they need to rectify it if they want to play finals footy, let alone try and win a freaking premiership. So for the team list news, Jordan Rapana comes back into the side. Sebastian Kris keeps his position in the centres with Matt Timoku and Nick Chotrich as well. So that means James Schiller is out. And then moving on to the Newcastle Knights now. And it looks like that they're unchanged in the back line. And it looks like that Kurt Mann will start in jersey number 13. And the interchange bench for the Newcastle Knights reads Sasangi, Leo Thompson, Matt Croker, and Saulo. Surprising to see Kalen Ponga there in jersey number 1 due to him being knocked out heavily on Sunday afternoon against the Penrith Panthers this past Sunday. And this is the last roll of the dice for the Newcastle Knights, in my opinion. If they don't win this game, if they lose the game 1-6, there's still just a small flicker, in my opinion. There's still just a small flicker. They just got to hold on until Jaden Brayley comes back. And I mean, Jaden Brayley, he's going to open up that friggin' front door and go, what the has happened here, without me being here to bloody guard yous. For the Canberra Raiders, though, this is such an important game against the Knights, who are a lesser team than them in 2022. Yeah, I am going to tip the Canberra Raiders 1-12. I don't say that confidently, don't I? I caught myself then, but I'm going to tip the Canberra Raiders to get this one done at home. Oh man, goddamn, you got to score some points in this second half, Canberra Raiders. So Raiders 1-12 this Sunday. And the final game of the round is, it's not a blockbuster. It is from CommBank Stadium, the second time that ground has been used this weekend. And it's the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs hosting the West Tigers. And the odds are Bulldogs are $1.80 to the West Tigers $2. Whoever decided that Bulldogs and Tigers should be the Sunday Channel 9 free-to-air game should be catapulted. My goodness gracious me. My goodness, mate. I'll be bloody turning the telly off early on Sunday afternoon, let me tell you. So for the team list news for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, it looks like the backline's unchanged. The forward pack, it looks like that's unchanged from yesterday's exciting win. I'll say that it was an exciting win for the Bulldogs yesterday against Parramatta. And then the interchange bench reads Zach Docker-Clay, Corey Waddell, Joe Stimson, and Curtis Morin. He looks like he could be making his first grade debut. I haven't seen his name this year, so he looks like he could be making a debut for the Bulldogs. Moving over to the West Tigers now. Dane Laurie features at fullback, the wingers are Nofaluma and Mamalo, and the centers Stafford Toa and Asu Kapoa comes in for Brent Naden, who is suspended for 4 weeks because of the tipping tackle on Jake Trbojevic, and I think he can consider himself lucky to only be missing 4 weeks, because that was a bad one from Brent Naden. And then the halves are the same, the forward pack. There's one change. That's Luciano Leilua that's not there. On the interchange bench, however, I am really pleased to see Faamanu Brown take his spot in jersey number 14. I actually watched the New South Wales Cup game between the Western Suburbs and the Blacktown Workers on Sunday, and I thought he was really good. He was very good in that win against the Bulldogs only 5-6 weeks ago as well. So that's good that Brown's getting more game time in first grade, because I think he's actually not a bad player at all. And then the rest of the interchange bench, Alex Twal, Adam Doueihi is going to come off the bench. Yo, he's back. Oh man, that changes me tip maybe. He's in jersey number 16 and Alex Seifarth is in jersey number 17. Oh man, that levels things up, because I was on the cusp of tipping Bulldogs, because the momentum and the confidence and the joy that they're gonna, that massive wave, they're gonna be a prickly old bloody side to try and contain over the next couple of weeks, because of how good of a win I think that was against Parramatta Eels. And the West Tigers, they looked lost at sea, and they looked like that the events of Michael Maguire being shafted sort of took a toll on them mentally. Really, they looked a bit not quite focused on. But now a week would have been removed, and they're going to be more laser focused. They only beat the Bulldogs a month ago, so they know that they can beat them. Bulldogs know that Tigers can beat them, but the Bulldogs also know that they came back roaring into that game after being down 18-20-0 at halftime, and very nearly pipped him at the end of the game there. But with Adam Doueihi in, with Faamanu Brown in, oh geez, this is another flip of the coin game actually. Oh, you know, I'm gonna stick with the Bulldogs. I'm gonna stick with me tip of the Bulldogs 1-12. I think Matt Burton is, oh gee whiz, he's starting to find some really nice form too. And the suggestions of him maybe pushing his way into an Origin jersey in 2022, I don't think it's that level, but I do think he's just starting to find some really good touch. But yeah, the Tigers with Adam Doueihi and Brown is good. Brooks and Hastings need to be better. They need to make more of an impact and show some better leadership than what they did last week. And same with Little, just quietly. Same with Little as well. Oh yeah, I think the Bulldogs are going to get him. Bulldogs 1-12. That's it for me this weekend. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you all for the new subscribers. Thank you all very much for the continuing support. Please go and check out the live preview for Manly versus North Queensland on my channel in a couple of hours, or floating around there in the ether. The one that I do with Prenzo Vids. Looking forward to talking to him about it. That's going to be such a great game this Friday night as well. Adios everyone, I hope your team gets up this weekend, except for the Manly Sea Eagles, and I'll talk to you guys later. Adios.